just inside 25 yards. I can see the two on the left. The one on the far right is kind of in shadow, but I can see it there. I was looking for numbers on those rings, I wouldn't be able to see it. That's a lot clearer. Yeah, there's image blur. It's actually not lagging, from what I can tell. Yeah, it's not yeah, I'm not getting any real lag, but it does blur a bit. I wouldn't drive with them. I wouldn't trust my life to it. Actually not bad. Get back and turn the IR on. Nothing out on this inside 25. That's significantly clearer, but I know that froze probably got a little crazy through the BPS 14. All right, John. I'm happy with it so far. You see what I mean? It's not a lag, it's just motion blur. Even the blur is not horrible once you get used to it. Alright, here's the final review. Sorry I've kept everyone waiting. I've been fighting a respiratory issue. I've been trying to wait to clear that up. So you have to bear with me. Also, right when I thought I was done, I ended up having another problem I'm trying to work out with Vie Tactical. But due to this being made overseas, trying to warranty it has been difficult. But for whatever reason, all of a sudden the left side, turn it on, the left side is dimmer than the right side, and one of the IR lights stopped working. No idea why. They told me to take the bridge apart to show the wiring. All the Allen keys I don't have one small enough to take this one particular screw out, so I haven't been able to do that. Nor do I really like taking products apart, because generally that voids the warranty. So that's what I'm dealing with right now. What I'm going to do is just speed through the information, and I'm going to try to provide as much information as I can for those of you who are much more advanced than I am when it comes to night vision, as well as for those of you who are new to night vision. As far as dealing with the company, the company is addressed out of Singapore, but the product shipped from China. And I generally like doing business with companies overseas because getting in contact with them is typically a pain. Surprisingly, Vie Tactical is very responsive. I normally get an email back within, the hour, if not within a few minutes when I contact them. They also offer law enforcement discount. I believe it was 5%, law enforcement military. I ordered it October 9th, and it shipped November 25th, landed in the U.S. and cleared customs November 29th, and I got it on December 4th. The modified battery pack that it came with originally, I got the batteries that they told me to get. I installed it per the instructions, and it started smoking. And they said it was because of low quality batteries. So they sent me a replacement. They sent me a replacement of the original battery pack, which came in January 27th. So another couple months for me to actually get to use this thing. I bought the exact batteries that they told me to get, and I asked about using the Surefire batteries, like many of the things that I'd have that run on CR123s. They didn't recommend it because it's supposed to be 3.7 volt, and the Surefires are not. So I got exactly what they told me to get, and it seems to work fine. Now it comes in the box, and as moving forward, the rest of the video, I'm going to have timestamps to show my work. I'm just giving you all the information right now. What comes in the box is the battery pack, the unit itself, 2 wires, as I got the recording kit, the DVR to record, and a button battery to change the brightness and the color. Now, it also supports a 32 gig SD card, so I define a 32 gig SD card. I haven't even pulled the videos from that SD card yet to see how those have done. As far as the color options, there's like a regular night vision, or regular night color. There's a simulated white phos, simulated green phosphorus, white-green combination. It looks kind of yellow to me. You have to touch this battery to the housing, like right here, and touch it to the housing on this side to change brightness, change color. I immediately didn't want to carry the battery because I know I was going to end up dropping it, and sure enough, I dropped the stupid thing in gravel in the dark and to find it. And I don't know why they did it like that instead of just having a button or change the settings like every other night vision thing I've used that's digital. It just seems unnecessarily and like an unnecessary problem for no reason. Now, what I tested was the clarity with and without the IR, and the refresh rate, latency. All those things are important because if you get lag when you move an object around, when you move your vision around and it lags, it can cause motion sickness. Now, when I first turned this thing on and put it on, my vision blurred. That takes some getting used to. I didn't get motion sick. Your mileage may vary, but I took it out with some friends that are military that have used the legitimate GPNVGs. Most of my experience with PVS-14s, and I took it out with some of the SWAT guys that I know. They loved it, but we all had the same thing: motion blur. We didn't get motion sick, but it does have motion blur. It is very low latency. Low latency being 20 milliseconds. I talked to an engineer that I know. He said that's actually pretty good. The simple way to explain it, latency would be like if my hand was here and I moved it here, the time it takes for the camera to pick that up, you know, that would be latency. So if I move my hand here and then the camera shows that it's still over here before moving it, you know, like a lag, that would be higher latency. I'm not getting that problem. Now the refresh rate's only 50 hertz, which is extremely disappointing. 60 hertz should be the bare minimum. A decent render in virtual reality is 90 hertz. Gaming monitors 144 hertz. The best TVs are 240, but you know, typically 120 is good. It's 50 hertz. I am getting motion blur, and that we're finding as we're doing indirect moves. Like if I'm moving directly forward, it seems fine, but switching targets or looking around left and right, while the low latency, I'm keeping up with an image, or it's keeping up with my movement. The actual image is blurring in motion, and that takes some real getting used to. I wouldn't trust my life to it. I sure wouldn't drive with them. Other than that, on the range, they're pretty fun. You know, training, they're pretty fun. Camping, they're pretty fun. Hunting, I've got some video in here. Hunters will have to figure out if you're okay with that. Depth perception, I checked. It is a 1x zoom, which is good because you already have kind of depth perception problems with night vision, where you have to train with it. Things look farther than they are. So having your entire vision in that depth perception would be that much worse if it wasn't a true 1x. It is comparable to my PVS 14, so that's good. Canopy check, looked up at the stars. I got some video of that in there. It's a little difficult to tell, but you can see the stars with it. Not as good as an analog night vision. Battery life, they're claiming over an hour continuous use. I have tested it to 2 hours before it starts to kind of mess up, so that's good. The weight they claimed is 1.8 pounds, 820 grams. The actual weight with the batteries, with the DVR, is 2 pounds 4 ounces. I'll show that as well. Storage and operating temperature, they say negative 15 degrees Celsius or 5 degrees Fahrenheit. Now I took it out in 14 degrees Fahrenheit for about 15-20 minutes, didn't have any problems, but then it started powering off on me randomly, and then it wouldn't turn on at all the next couple days. I got it back on eventually, seems to work fine. And now you'll see in the video where I take it out with my dog, I was out there in 38 degrees for about a half hour or so, and vertical lines started popping up on the screen. And before I got back to the car, the whole screen, they're all vertical lines. It was completely useless. So it doesn't do cold well at all. They have to work on that. Waterproofing, I was going to test the waterproofing by spraying some water at it, because they rate it IP 66, which means it should be able to take water and dust, a powerful jet of water and dust from any direction. But I wanted to check and see if that applied, because I didn't think it would, to the DVR as well. And they said they don't recommend it being in heavy rain, but I was like, well, your website says it's extremely durable. It uses words like military grade water protection, and it's supposed to be IP66 rated, and you know, yada yada yada. And they're like, well, we just don't recommend that you have it in heavy rain for hours. And that didn't inspire confidence, so I actually did not test the waterproofing, because I paid for this out of pocket. I'm not being paid for this review. If I mess it up and I can't send it all the way back to where it came from, and it's $1,500, I'm going to be upset. So I did not test that. Conclusion. So how I feel about it, it's very good as far as just kind of hiking, camping, looking around. On the range with the proper hour illuminator, it is pretty fun to use. As far as actual, maybe, you know, home defense or anything of that nature, I wouldn't trust it because of the lag in motion. The DVR leaves much to be desired, because first of all, the thing, I have to tuck it somewhere on my helmet, and then it has a flashing light. It's got a power light, and then it has a flashing light that lets you know that it's recording. So I've already got to take the stupid thing off to power it on and press the button and make sure it's recording. Then I got to try to flip it over and hide the reflection of these lights, you know, the steady battery light and a flashing green light, you know, and then I have to take it back off and hit the button again to stop it from recording. So it's not very intuitive, and you know, it gets you caught if you don't tuck it properly, so that's a problem. Having to carry the stupid battery around if you want to change the color, the brightness is a problem, because like I said, I'm trying to touch it to the housing and I dropped it, and I don't know why they did that. Also, what I would like to see is an IR indicator, because when this IR light is turned on, sometimes I forgot, and it wasn't until I watched my video back later that I saw I forgot to turn that light off, and I had to redo the video because I meant to do it with the IR off or something like that. The actual PVS 14 has a small indicator inside the screen or inside the unit that you can see without it messing up your vision, so that you know that the IR is on. So it wouldn't hurt to have a small icon in the corner so that you know that that IR is turned on, instead of me having to take the stupid thing off and look at it to see if I left it on accidentally or not. But that's just about and then of course the refresh rate. 50 hertz is low. I mean, I'd like to see something better. But other than that, whether or not it's worth it depends on your application. You know, you have my information, you have everything I think of it, and following with it, there'll be timestamps. So this is a long video. I'm not going to spend a bunch of time editing. You can look at the timestamps, skip through, or watch the whole thing and make your own determination if you think that it's worth the money. For me, my $200 Amazon night vision binoculars that have 4 levels of IR and full color, and you know, a built-in recording system and a button to change these things, that was worth the money. To have to do all this extra stuff, $1,500 is kind of steep to me for what it is. If it were $1,000, I'd give it a 5-star. For it to be $1,500 and to have some of these drawbacks, especially with the lag and motion, I give it 3.5. I don't regret buying it, but I don't know if I would, had I known all this, I'm not sure I'd have spent the money. Also, one of these doesn't even work. So I believe it's this one. There are 4 screens, 2 screens in each one. This one is tied. This optic is tied to this screen, and this optic is tied to that screen. But I think this one is tied to both the middle screens, and this one doesn't actually do anything. It's just there, but still get full panoramic, so it's not that big of a deal. And I don't like that this button is where it is, because I have to try to, that IR button, I've got to try to reach that button without covering the screen. So I almost have to reach specifically under this one to try to hit that button to to toggle the IR on and off without blinding my vision. I don't know why that wasn't somewhere where you can go from behind or above without having to reach in front of your vision. All right. That's what I have. Following will be I'll show my work. Alright, we are out here on the trail with my 14,000 lumen Olight floodlight, and I've got Canine Bartles with me. He's a brindle Dutch Shepherd. He's the perfect partner for doing this test out here in the dark. For those of you that are hunting, you have to be able to distinguish animals at a distance. Or if you're like me and you spend a lot of time camping. So it is overcast, and this is a dark trail. Alright, might have to scratch anything I previously said about the cold weather test. I've been out here at a half hour and 38 feels like 31 degrees. Just walking the trail, out on a stroll with the dog, and this thing is practically useless. We'll see if it gets better once it warms back up. So I had it out in 14 degrees, and it did seem to perform fine for the 20 minutes or so that I was out there. And then it just wouldn't, it started powering off randomly, and then it wouldn't turn back on even with fresh batteries. And then all of a sudden it's fine. And then we just had it out in 38, feels like 31. And it performed fine, but as you see me going over that segment of those videos that'll be in this review, vertical lines start popping up, and then as I'm making my way back to the car, it's completely unrecognizable. But once it warmed back up to regular temperature, seems to be working fine.